On the fourth anniversary of the demise of Roe v. Wade, where does the pro-life movement stand? I think we ought to put it in context. We're on the verge of a 250th anniversary of our nation's founding, our birthday. We're in the month where we're celebrating the 160th anniversary of the passage of the 14th Amendment. And then here we are, just 4 years away from the demise of Roe v. Wade. How do you assess? Well, you assess within the context of the 250 years of this country's holding up the principles of our founding documents. Are we in the pro-life movement, are we as a nation honoring the 14th Amendment promise to the unborn child? I would say no, we're certainly not. But have we got a beginning? Do we have hope? Absolutely yes. What we have now is a de facto policy. It's a states-only policy where states could move ahead, pass laws to protect human lives. And about half the states did, of course. But what has happened, and there's a great grief, the mourning for unborn children and grief for mothers who are going through absolute hell, is that the abortion drug is flooding into pro-life states and increasing their abortion rates and misery to women. So it's very hard to say that we have won or even come close to winning. What we're doing is we're struggling. Now we see that the states-only strategy is a failure and that governors like Newsom and Hochul are determining the policy of Alabama and Louisiana. When they allow those drugs to come into those states and shield the practitioners of those abortion drugs, when they allow that to happen, they directly undermine the sovereignty of those states, they hurt women, and they abort more children. So what we've seen is an abortion rate that's gone up. But let me just say that the hope is greater than any of the 50 years before Roe v. Wade was overturned, because it's all in our hands, which is the way it's supposed to be. When we're just on the verge of celebrating a 250th anniversary of the birthday of our country, well, we have seen human rights battles succeed time after time. In what way? We see the founding documents principles, elected officials running on just those to preserve and protect those, look into how to protect the human rights of the people of this nation, and they pass policies, they pass laws to protect those people. That inalienable right to life, embedded in our Constitution, guaranteed by the 14th Amendment, which obligates office holders to act, is what we are building towards. At Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, the elections of 26 and 28 will determine whether this happens or not. So how are abortion drugs driving the increase of abortion in this country, and what are you calling on the Trump administration to do? Well, it's a pretty easy bottom line, because 15,000 children are dying in strong pro-life states that have strong pro-life protections because of the abortion drug. It has to stop now, today, and it could be done, but it has not been done. The DOJ could settle with the state of Louisiana immediately. There's a track record of this administration being that bold and courageous in the face of injustice, and they should do so now. It's not hard. Just do it at the same time that they're doing the durable, strong study of harms to women that is going on right now. When you know something terrible is going wrong, stop it and then study. And then we'll go back and figure out what the regulations ought to look like. And ultimately, an end to the abortion drug is what we all want. But we at least want some common sense, reasonable rules surrounding the distribution of this thing that is causing pain, and every month a new horror story of a woman who's been drugged or coerced, and that needs to stop. So how is SBA engaging in the 26 and 28 elections? Well, I have never personally been more excited to move into an election than I am now, and we've been doing this since the early 90s. And why is that? Because we're a moment of great hope because of the overturn of Roe v. Wade. We're also seeing some disasters because of inaction at the top of the federal government. So what are we looking for now? We're looking to create the great dream team that will be elected in 26 and 28. In 26 for SBA, that means all the battlegrounds that matter so that we can retain and hopefully build a majority in the House and the Senate. Those battlegrounds are all over the country, in Iowa, North Carolina, Ohio, Michigan, Georgia. And then of course in House races that are all over the country. So what do? How do we convince? Well, we take that inalienable right to life that we have that can't be taken away because we just have it innately as human beings. And we take that message door to door in battlegrounds to the right voters with the right message to draw the contrast between the candidate that's for unlimited abortion and our candidates who are for advocating and then passing national pro-life protective legislation based in the 14th Amendment, based in the inalienable right to life, that is surrounding the consensus, that confirms the consensus in this country. The Gallup poll just last week showed that there is a huge increase in the number of people who self-ID pro-life, huge for Gallup. It's around 5%. We've also seen recently a Gallup poll where there is a enormous leap by 11 points of young people who self-ID as pro-life. And why is that? Why are these numbers so dramatic? They're dramatic because people are seeing, including young people, the contrast between voters, and they're very uncomfortable with, and they should be, with unlimited abortion up into the end. And what they're seeing is our pro-life candidates, while they want to save every life, are really looking to confirm consensus in the law and then build towards a more pro-life nation. If we want to be this shining city on the hill that our founding documents aspire to, then we need to meet the demand of the greatest human rights violation of our day. And that is the death daily of children intended for this world, made in the image of God, should be and can be protected by the law, and that's what we're working for. And 26 and 28 will be pivotal to whether that becomes real or not. So one of the reasons I am so excited about the next presidential race is because of who they might be, who those nominees on the GOP side, on the pro-life side might be, and then also our ability to influence voters in those early primary and caucus states. I'm talking about Iowa, South Carolina, possibly beyond. And when those candidates go to Iowa, for instance, pretty much every voter in Iowa in those caucuses meets those presidential candidates numerous times. It becomes a day-to-day normal activity to meet presidential candidates because, of course, they are working for every vote. That gives the pro-life movement an incredible muscle, because when you go to Iowa, one of the most pro-life states in the nation, and we're communicating the difficulty that unborn children and their moms are facing now with increased abortions in this country, they see the problem, they see the need for national leadership, a national advocate, a Lincoln of this moment, then they are communicating directly to those presidential candidates what they're looking for and whoever they vote for. And so that is power, and that is exactly why the American experiment turned out so well, because that is the partnership between the law, the people, and the policy and the Constitution right there in Iowa in a microcosm. And then, of course, the South Carolina as well. We are really excited, I'm really excited, and the nation should be excited to see who is in that lineup, who is standing at that first debate. Will they adopt an ostrich strategy, hoping the issue would just go away and then get eaten alive? Or will they be strong and bold and courageous, found their arguments in the inalienable right to life, found their arguments in the promises of our founding documents, of our Constitution, of our 14th Amendment? And then we'll see who should rise to the top and who actually wins this nomination. That's why I'm most excited, because what we need is that person at the top who will communicate and lead us into the future in a more life-affirming, less barbarous nation.